And we are live here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the racing capital of the world, for the MartinPC.com 200, home of tonight's Laser Sim Racing Grid Network Truck Series. And I am excited for this one. I mean, it is truly the racing capital of the world. I'm Joshua Copernell. I am joined by Olivia Hayward. Olivia, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I definitely agree with you. This is one of the great venues in motorsport. Of course, home of one of the Triple Crowns, the Indianapolis 500.
Yes.
And tonight we are going racing with some vehicles that don't normally run here. Quite often the trucks run a sort of support event over at IRP. But we're going to trust these drivers with the big boy track, the 2.5 miles, 4 rectangular corners, and top speeds of approaching 190 mile an hour in clean air. Maybe in the slipstream, you might see some drivers get towards that 200 mark. It's going to be a great race, a lot of action, and I cannot wait to get going.
It is going to be a phenomenal race, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, you know, we've had races in this league right down the road at the IRP racetrack. It is a fantastic, phenomenal race course itself. I've had the pleasure of being there the last couple of years. Not for the truck race, but for some Carb Night Classics night before the last two Indy 500s, which leads me to being here for the last two Indy 500s as well. A lot different. What we're going to see here tonight is we're currently watching Michael Kruger get super loose out of turn 3. See us coming out of turn 4 now to start his... Well, he's not going to do it. He hit the wall, wanted to reset very quickly, and decided to hit the wall while he was at it.
Yeah, that's one of the ones you're scared about watching racing here. But it was just a quick reset for the driver there. We continue through a much cleaner line there through turn 4. For, I believe, this is Justin Raw getting to the start line.
Yeah,
It's pretty crucial to get as low as possible here. It's the main feature of this track. He has the wall off the corner, and he's going to reset as well. We know that the white line is normally sort of the track limit, and running below that is not necessarily advised. But here, that curb is really your final limit, and the best drivers are going to find time by dipping 2 tires below that white line, especially during the qualifying run. Constant banking here of 9.2 degrees is crucial to get it as perfect as possible. We're seeing a lot of drivers overstep the mark a little bit here so far in qualifying.
Lines of Chicano on top of the board at 52.712, and yeah, something tells me I'm going to have to reset Trading Paints, because I could tell immediately with Justin Rott that he was not in the correct paint scheme on my end. Justin Rand, same thing. Michael Kruger's truck showed just fine, so we'll get that sorted right after qualifying. Not going to waste the screen time right now to get it fixed. We have plenty of time during qualifying, or after qualifying before the race. But Justin Rand, I think he might have tagged the wall a little bit there off turn 2. I'm not so sure this lap is going to count. But this is only his first of 2 laps. We'll see if Justin Rand does post a time. He doesn't. So this lap will have to be the one that makes it happen for Justin Durand, as it is currently Rivers Jones top of the board at 52.246.
Yeah, and of course, that is one of the additional limitations that we have in iRacing for qualifying. That to avoid basically exploits of drivers tapping the wall and finding some speed from it. Any wall tap that gives you a 0x contact will invalidate the lap. It is not that way in real life. If you remember the qualifying run from Cat Led, a year or so back, where she slammed the wall off turn 4, kept her foot in it, and it was enough to complete a time to make her way into the race, I believe. Or I think she had to go through bump day still, but a fantastic run. These drivers not going to have that luxury, and those wall taps gotta make sure to leave a little bit extra room just to make sure that you don't end up on the wrong side of the stewards.
Fidel Fabian is coming off turn number 4. Fabian currently P8. Let's see what lap 2 has in store. Not an improvement.
4/10 of a second. And that shows how strong the fall off can be when the track's listed and the corners are so tricky. You're on the brakes, I wouldn't be surprised if late in a run some drivers are considering downshifting through the corners. It's much like turn 2 over at Pocono, of course. We often see drivers shifting 1 and 3 there, and sometimes through the tunnel turn as well. It's going to be very tricky on the tyres here. Your choice of brake bias will matter a lot as well. So the long runs will be very interesting, but in terms of the 1 lap pace, it's very clearly Rivers Jones on top of everyone here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that starting lineup. You mentioned Rivers Jones on the pole. It's going to be Tristan Maher going to start P2. 3rd, Justin Rutt. Randy Payne will start in 4th. Cody McCorkle going to start in 5th. David Durand in P6. 7th is Michael Kruger. Fidel Fabian going to start 8th. 9th, Alonso Chicano. And Justin Rand will start in 10th.
It'll be Levi Poland who starts in 11th place with Alex Kerfen on the outside. William Kemp and Gabe Cazzola are the last 2 drivers to get qualifying laps in. They'll start on row number 7. And then Michael Walls, Stephen Littrell, Dawson Allen, and Stephen Thornton are your 4 drivers having to cut their way through after picking up those wall contacts during qualifying.
So that is the starting lineup for tonight. And I gotta ask, you had the correct pick last week with taking Michael Walls as your pick to win. So who's it going to be this week?
It's tricky. This is such a different track to anything we've had on the schedule so far. It almost acts a little bit more like a road course in a way with how you have to approach the corners. I'm going to say a driver did quite well over at Portland and is doing quite well in qualifying. I'm going to say the 76 of Justin Raw is going to go for win number 3 on the season and is going to work through to take the win here at Indianapolis.
I chose him last week, and I'm going to choose him this week. And it's not because he is starting on the pole, but because he has had a lot of great runs, and now he's got himself in a position where he is starting out front at a track I believe is going to be really hard to pass at. I think as long as the internet stays stable for Rivers Jones, as he's kind of blinking right now, I think Rivers Jones is going to be the winner tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for overtaking, of course. Not just that sort of dirty air effect in the corners, but also just how long the corners are and how patient you have to be getting back on the power. The lead car can almost always be the first one down to the throttle. But you've got these straightaways a little over half a mile on the front and the back, which are where you're going to expect to make the most moves. Just an 1/8 of a mile through that short chute, not really much opportunity to get alongside someone. So it's about those slingshot runs down into turn number 1, and of course into turn 3, that then you're deciding whether a driver can get through. I think it's going to be tricky, but I think there's going to be a few who are just better than everyone else who are going to be able to get it done here.
80 laps make up tonight's race distance. 200 miles for the MartinPC.com 200. We are nearing closer and closer to the final race of the regular season. This race is going to play an important part in that journey. This field is coming off. Turn number 4. Pace truck going to make its way to the safety of pit road. Rivers Jones, Tristan Maher. Inside the restart zone, green flag is out. And it is time to bring the action here at Indy. Justin Rott.
See a few trucks tail happy there through turn 1. It just shows how tricky the cold tires can be off that initial restart. And there's the draft break in from Rivers Jones. Has the lead and wants Rott to have to follow if he wants to make the slipstream through. Spread out a little bit behind, but the top few all single file now as we come to the end of lap 1.
Michael Kruger trying to get side by side with Randy Payne. There's a lot of drivers still side by side. All the way back to David Durand and Alonso Chicano. This driver's going to get clear, as well as Fidel Fabian. Do not want to be caught on the outside for very long here.
A very, very tricky situation if you're out there, of course. One risk is a trip behind, sort of trying to get you a little bit aero loose off that left rear corner, I should say. But the other one is just that higher line, there's nothing to really help you out there. Late in the run, you can get some marbles up there as well. And there's just danger of going up the track. You saw Payne tried to merge low, was not clear. Michael Kruger going to keep that truck to the outside. And there's going to be a little bit of contact through turn 1. This is getting sketchy. Both drivers make it through and down onto the backstretch where Payne actually was getting fed a little bit of slipstream, but now Tony McCorkle moves across. Michael Kruger's getting the advantage.
Yeah, teammates, Cody McCorkle and Michael Kruger. I think Payne lifted a little bit early there to go ahead and give the advantage to Kruger. Didn't want to fight on that outside any longer, did Payne.
And it's about that long run. There was the threat of Durand behind, but also the threat of just destroying the tyres, and especially that right rear as you wait and wait on power through the corners. Fuelman's here about as they are in the IndyCar. 28 to 32 laps expected on a tank, so 2 stops for sure. Of course, it'll take us to the end of the first stage at lap 20. Tyres are not going to go that long. I can see people considering maybe stop if it stays green. But I think it's just about trying to keep them alive as long as you possibly can with how difficult the corner loads are here.
And I don't really expect to see a lot of yellows either. 17 drivers in the field. We know we're not going to get a caution at the stage break. So, you know, we could very well have a caution-free race. These drivers
side by side, and Kerfen out the window just saying, please let me go. This is hell being stuck on the outside here. Going to be the same again into turn 3 again. Maybe Wall's try to get that truck a little bit loose on the corner. And he's going to get side by side here in turn number 3. Really got to set the moves up and make it happen, sometimes over multiple laps here. Especially phase 1 through the first, and then through that short shoot into the second of the corner pair. That's where you really complete the move. And here, Balls has a bit of an advantage into turn number 1. But great job from Kerfen fighting this one. Problem is slowing both of them and everyone behind. The top 10 starting to run away just a little bit, and they've got to get into single file at some point.
And if you're Gabe Gazzola, I mean, you're right there. You've got Levi Poland all over your tailgate. Kempf right there as well. If you're Gazzola, do you try to get a run and maybe force it 3?
There's only one time that 3 wide is a good idea in
I agree.
The 500. Definitely not in the corners. If you can clear them, then maybe. But I think it's a bit like a road course. You've just got to wait for them to sort out their own trouble. Hope you pick the right driver to follow behind, and then once you're past them, make your fight with them as it's into the wall for Kerfen. Just gets shepherded a little wide, trying to hold around the outside of Pisola. He's now falling down a couple of positions. And there might be a little bit of damage. He might have gotten away with it potentially. But it doesn't show great for that number 30, who's starting to fade down the field from starting top 12th place. Meanwhile, up at the front, new race leader. And I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Rott, he has been incredible. And this season has been a season where it's at him up front a lot. And here he is up front once again. They're pulling away from Tristan Maher. They've got a big gap back to Cody McCorkle. Oh, here goes Rivers Jones to the inside of Rott. And it's just, it is a struggle for Rott to know where Jones is while he is still blinking in and out.
Right, I think what happened was Rott actually caught the wall down towards the entry of turn 3, let off a little bit of speed at the top end of the straightaway, and that's what gave that huge run late on to Rivers Jones. He lost about 10 miles an hour before turning point just from catching the wall. They both need to catch the ball with the right rear quarter.
I think so did
holding on.
Maher, and I saw a lot of drivers getting loose behind from McCorkle and Kruger.
It just shows it's the rear tires that really feel the worst of it, especially in terms of heat. I think that's going to be the main storyline here. Track temp up at 97 Fahrenheit, which doesn't, it's not crazy what we've seen at some venues, but with the type of corner load you're dealing with here, the tires are either pushing through the corner or they're at such high speed on the straightaway. There's not really much time for them to cool off.
Yeah, seeing 97 degrees Fahrenheit track temp. Oh my goodness. Rivers clobbered the wall there, but as a driver, that would scare me a little bit. There's going to be a lot of sliding around, and we're seeing it.
You had the prediction of no cautions. I think it's going to be a spot similar to last week where it's just going to end up burning up tires so much that there's going to be a solo spin from someone in the field before we get to our first pit stop cycle. And that could be what ends up bringing out a caution, giving everyone else a chance to get those fresh tires on.
You see everybody single file throughout the field. I'm really surprised that we have the breakaway that we have. I think Kruger and McCorkle are trying to work together. Catch up to Maher. All three of those drivers, Maher, McCorkle, and Kruger, are teammates.
I think part of it might just be that little bit of dirty air coming off the back of the trucks through the corners. You're talking corner speed about 160 miles an hour. You are relying quite a lot on the downforce that the bodywork provides to make that happen. You can only ask so much of the good gears, especially as we start to fade about halfway through the opening stint, more than halfway into the stage, of course. And when you're tucked up that close behind another truck, it can get very tricky indeed as Kruger moves to the inside, gets a bit clean air on the nose, but can't really extend out on the way to the exit the way that he'd like. It narrows the track by a good few feet when you're side by side with your driver. It just makes it all that more difficult on exit to keep the power down as early as you would like.
Yeah, I don't like how narrow this track is. For other reasons. But, oh my goodness, Kruger and McCorkle, side by side. Kruger gets past McCorkle. And goes into P4.
Yeah, great move. Just overshot a little bit through turn 2 there. Opened up the door for the run-off corner, and Kruger slingshotted around and made sure to be clear before corner entry to make sure they both keep going in the right direction. Rufus Jones, meanwhile, is back on the tailgate of Justin Rourke for the lead of this race, following within a couple tenths of a second. And you can see coming through the corner, just gets that little bit lower early on, makes sure that he's able to get that air underneath where Rourke is running, below that white line even. And it helps mitigate that dirty air effect. Just a little bit loose through turn 2. Means he's dropped back a little bit as we head down into turn number 3, but all the way down to the curb there, Jones. And that's where he's going to gain that little bit, inch by inch, try and get back up to the race leader. Of course, losing slipstream by blinking out of this world is not going to help out that much in that regard.
No, not at all. It's, it seems like it's had calmed down a little bit, but pretty steady right now.
And it's not fun because you're going to be in the voice street, you're going to know that this is happening, and you're going to see the numbers in the top right light up like a Christmas tree as these sort of latency issues come in and out. It's just that distraction you don't really need when the corners here are so constantly precise in the run, especially behind the truck. It's not going to be good for Jones in terms of focus, having that happen. As much as it's not great seeing it in the rearview mirror for Justin Rourke, I think it's probably worse for the blinking truck to be in that spot, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. My telemetry saying he's blinked 46 times. Make that 47. 16 laps into this race.
It's more than once a mile. See what wins out in the end. 200 miles to cover here in modernpc.com 200 at Indianapolis. We'll see whether Jones' internet is able to stabilize just that little bit as Maher gets into the curb behind Rowan in third. And that is going to be the trouble. You try and run low to carry that additional speed to widen the track as much as possible. But those curbs end up cambering the tire the wrong direction. You end up losing a little bit of grip. And 17 truck nearly went around there. You can see still sort of fighting the tire heat after that slide.
And just want to give a quick shout out to Tristan Maher and Alex Kerfan. Those two drivers finished third in their Indy 6-hour special event race earlier today. Both of them, as well as Michael Kruger and myself, were racing two different cars, part of the same team. Mikey and I had some misfortunes last night. Actually, Maher and Kerfan also had misfortunes last night. They were brave enough to try it again. Mikey and I did not want to. Well, at least I didn't want to. But Tristan and Alex, like I said, finished third in class. They were driving the GT3 Mustang.
It's really impressive, especially with the conditions that we saw during that 6-hour race. Rain, quite heavy rain at the start of it, and then very slowly drying the track over the course of the run. Yeah, very brave to even sort of attempt that, and then to suddenly hop onto the oval and run the double, as it were. Yeah, third place is a great finish, I'm sure. They're looking to go that little bit better here tonight, as we are only a couple of laps from the end of this opening stage.
Yeah, it is closing quickly, as they are on lap 19. It's going to be at the conclusion of lap 20, so only 2 laps left in this opening stage. But I want to mention also that those lucky guys did not have rain in their session today, though it rained for all of us yesterday. They both, well, on screen, Maher and Kruger kind of tapped the wall out of turn 2.
I didn't realize there was a possibility of it not raining in one of those races. It seemed so treacherous in the other slots, but of course, you can always get that lucky roll, that vortex theory coming into play.
Yeah.
If only the real life 500s past couple of years could have had the same fortune. And the Brickyard races, it's been a constant battle with the weather here at Indianapolis the past couple of years. Blue skies here in the iRacing oval scene, and it's the white flag for stage number 1. Justin Raw started third, currently leads the way.
Justin Raw has been very impressive in this opening run, this first stage. And he's just got to make it a couple more corners. He will be on his way to another stage victory here in Season 8 of the Blazer Sim Racing Grid Network Truck Series. It's off turn number 4. Justin Rott. Oh my goodness, we're going to have a caution. Randy Payne absolutely demolished the outside wall. Hit the inside wall, and then came back up on track.
My goodness, I don't think anyone was collected in that. Let's have another look at this. It's off turn 4, coming to that green and white checkered flag. Just has to look. A truck doesn't stop turning off turn, doesn't even make contact with the outside wall. And
I thought it did.
There's just no time to save it as it bottlenecks down towards the pit straight. Drives very lucky to not get caught out in that. But that will give us an unintentional stage break here as we come to the end of that opening stage. Bad monitor disconnect. I think the driver lost vision there, didn't know when to stop turning the wheel, because they just had no visuals.
That is absolutely insane. But I think I think you're right. There was something there. It didn't look like he was loose. He didn't hit the outside wall like I initially thought. And I don't see Randy Payne bringing caution out intentionally like that, especially destroying his own race trucks. So I think you're right. There had to have been something that blocked his vision. I've had it happen before.
A antivirus pop up, a cat jumping up. It could be anything, really.
Yeah.
All we know is that it is going to bring out our first caution.
Oh, Tristan Maher spinning
for Tristan Maher.
Oh,
correct. You can't pit the truck in reverse here, and that'll send the 17 probably to the tail end of the field, if not close to it. Off pit road, Justin Raw is going to win the race, just ahead of Rivers Jones. Side by side for third and fourth, but Tristan Maher leaves pit road 11th after entering in the top 3, I think it was.
Yeah, he was third there. Oh my goodness. In a place where it is so hard to pass as well. Kruger, Kerfan, and Cazzola, all 3 of those drivers are still in pit road.
Yeah, Cazzola had a sort of a similar looking incident off turn 1 with a couple laps to go in the stage. Ended up finding contact with the inside wall, but of course off the racing surface, so kept the race green. And I think a few of the drivers also dealing with a little bit of damage from those occasional wall hits. I know Kerfan, of course, got into the wall early on, went side by side, so looking for a repair of that one. And an update from Randy Payne on the way to the Marital Center. Game freeze. So the monitor stayed working, but the feed from iRacing just locked up, and you don't know how long that's going to hold for, and it's so difficult to drive without having that visual information.
Yeah, that is absolutely rough. And, man, not the way you want your race to end at all.
No. And was running well with inside the top 10 at that point as well. I think it was set to come home 6th place in that opening stage before that incident.
Yeah, I believe you're right. That is a tough pill to swallow. So drivers are 2x2. And if you're looking, if you're in the market, that is, for a gaming PC, check out martinpc.com. Brian Haynes, he'll get you taken care of. They have a lot to offer. Brian, he is very knowledgeable in the computers he builds, and all of his builds are custom built with the parts that he feels are the best. Brian is a really good guy, good friend, and I think it is awesome that he continues to support this league, even though he's really not around here much anymore. But Brian Haynes, like I said, he'll have you taken care of at martinpc.com. The pace truck going to make its way to the safety of pit road. We're going to go green with 57 laps to go in the martinpc.com 200. Just Rott, Rivers Jones, front row, inside the restart zone, green flags out. Here we go.
And of course, the leader with control of that restart is why he saw such a big jump there. from Justin Rohr, but one huge name who has made some jumps forward here. Michael Walls started down in 15th place, climbed up into the top 10, but I think gained some spots through that cycle. And now runs in the 3rd position behind Rawton Jones as they are side by side for the race lead. Jones to the outside and they'll look for maybe a crossover move here. And he's going to get the nose there through the short chute.
Oh my goodness. Side by side off turn number 4. Rott's going to come down, try to get the side draft as they are snaking down that front stretch. Still side by side. Jones disappears for a moment. He's going to have the advantage here off turn number 1 and through the short chute. So far, Rott. Oh my goodness. Rott's clear, barely, and here comes Walls side by side with Jones.
Inches between Walls and Jones there, down the back straightaway, but those are the moves you need to make it. Indianapolis, there's a little bit of contact. Jones up into the wall, Walls unstable down on that low side. They both hold on to it and are trying to fend off Cody McCorkle now, who is going to slot in behind, but that was so close for the both of them. And there could be a little bit of damage on that 18 truck from that tap against the wall.
This is crazy. Rott is now 0.7 of a second ahead of Michael Walls. These guys racing hard is causing that, and I think Walls might have gotten into the wall just a little bit there off turn number 2.
He's also not chasing the slipstream of Justin Rohr there. I think wanted to defend that high side so much from Jones that he had to stay high. He stays high and gets into the wall. Return of serve there from Jones as there's contact in turn number 3, and that was a much harder hit. I think a much higher chance that the 7's going to be trying to hold on to get a little bit of damage fixed under a upcoming caution. Bottleneck behind, you see Duran Chicano. David Duran trying to find his way through as well. In the top 3 with a little bit of a breakaway right now, it looks like.
Oh my goodness. This guy's sliding all around. Alonso Chicano trying to get the draft on Justin Duran. Find a way to get around him. David Duran behind. Side by side with Cazzola. Alonso Chicano continuing to peek out. Zola might have gotten to the right rear of Chicano there for a moment. Zola actually now going to take a peek to the inside with Alonso. He's going to enter side by side. Alonso Chicano cedes the position.
And that's a great recovery from Gabe, who, of course, had that incident just before the caution came out. Ended up down on pit road for nearly a minute to get that thing patched up. So starting from the tail end and has already climbed up into the 6th position, which I believe might be a high on the day for the 95. I'm a little bit worried that maybe the tyres could be a concern later in the stint. See how he's able to hold on to it. Speaking of drives with issues on pit road, Tristan Maher still runs down in the 13th position. Actually lost a couple of spots from the restart where he lined up 11th. Struggling to get back through the field after that spin down on pit road dropped him down outside of that top 3.
Michael Kruger, he is in P10. Kruger has had been running up front early in this race, but after spending a lengthy time down pit road, finds himself currently in 10th position.
About 7 laps into this restart here, you start to see that tyre fall off. Numbers for some drivers, maybe half a second since the restart. For others, a little bit more than that. We are expecting lap 51 to be the magic number here. Dead fuel wind was expected to be 28 to 32 laps, and it's going to be maybe a little bit of fuel save depending on driving style. It might be a situation where drivers who might be considering the downshift in the corners might opt to try and roll it through, just lift up a little bit early rather than using as much brake to make sure they can extend the stint just enough to get into that one-stop window. There's a chance it could open up the door for the alternate strategy of the 2-stop, but I think with it only being a sort of 57 lap run, it's going to be very difficult to make up the sort of 50-second pit delta that you see here at Indianapolis. It's a very long pit lane.
David Durand still has not gotten around Alonso Chicano. Just kind of riding behind that 25 machine right now. But he's been trying. It's not been from a lack of effort. Talk about how difficult it is going to be to pass. I really think you're going to have to set up the driver in front of you. Just get yourself in a position, or kind of wait for a mistake. A lot of these drivers do a great job and don't make a whole lot of mistakes, though. So it's going to be just a game of patience.
Yeah, the mistakes are going to become more common later in the stint as we get that tyre fall off. In the early run, it's just about managing what you have as best as possible so that you have the easiest time making those moves as we get towards the latter part of the run. See, looks like a little bit loose past couple corners for David Durand. There's almost a little bit of a paradoxical thing where if you do a great job saving that right front tire, the truck can become sometimes impossibly loose to control because the right rear is losing grip so much faster than the right front. And I think for some drivers, they might be running into that here, as I believe that is going to be Stephen Littrell pulling down to pit road now. And that is very early for the 36.
Yeah, it is. Only 12 laps since they were last on pit road. Of course, that was during caution, so about 10 laps on green. Kind of surprised.
Yeah, it might be an issue that could potentially lead to a retirement here. See how things go for the 36, but it's definitely not even in that window you'd hope for if you were trying to split this 2 stops to the end. It's still stationary down on pit road. It looks like we are going to be down to 15, as in fact Fidel Fabian is potentially having some connection issues as well. Has now reappeared, thankfully, down in 14th place, side by side with Alex Kerfen. But it looks like some trouble there for the number 36.
Yeah, still on pit road. Now it looks like he is gone. Not the night he wants to remember. Alonso Chicano going to be side by side with Gabe Cazzola. And move Alonso up to P number 6.
Yeah, no, Alonso cuts through. So I believe it was Durand who was the next trip behind for a while. Alonso doing a great job slicing through. Now up into 6th place, but a little bit wide there through turn 1. Gonna have to go a bit defensive here into turn number 2, and that could give a run actually to David Durand, who slides up the inside of Gabe Cazzola. There's gonna be a drag race down towards turn number 3. William Kemp gonna help out the number 24. And I think that should be enough for Durand to hold on. But actually a great run on corner entry there for Gabe Cazzola. Really some contact there in turn 3. This is so close racing. And it's causing that bottleneck behind. You can see Michael Kruger now in this party.
And Kruger is just trying to figure out where he can go. Going to be nowhere as now he takes a peek to the inside of William Kempf. Kempf actually a little bit up the racetrack. This could help Michael Kruger. It's again up the racetrack for Kempf. He's hanging right there with Mikey, though.
A perfectly timed move there from Kemp. Clear of both trucks. Order back and move to the inside to make the move on the number 95. Now Kruger still stuck side by side with Gabe Cazzola, who is starting to fade after an early lunge on those tires. And Paul's looking 3 wide. Gonna think better of it instead. Give a little bit of help to Kruger. Try and get them both around Gabe in that 95 truck.
Kruger almost clear. Washes up. Still not clear. Just trying pretty hard. Poland actually going to move back to the outside line behind Cazzola. A little bit of contact between the 42 and the 95. So Kruger gets clear. Now Poland to the inside of Cazzola.
And Tristan Maher, who again got caught out on pit road, trying to find spots here, I think is also going to help Poland. I think the drivers see the tyre situation on Gabe's truck and are trying to work together to get by. We'll see if Tristan can find a charge late in the run here. He's left it a long time, about 15 laps under green since the restart. He's only back to 11th place where he started this run, to running up in the top 5 at the start of the day.
David Durand, currently P7. He is pretty close to hounding Alonso Chicano once again for a position, but this time it'll be for P6 instead of P7.
That top 5 has such a breakaway to the rest of the field. The gap from first to 6th is 4.7 seconds. And that same gap covers everyone from 6th back down to 14th, with Alex Kerfen running all the way down. So it's such a big breakaway for that top 5. And then really inside the rest of this group, a well-timed pit stop and, a good move late in the run could be crucial to get yourself into a fighting position.
Yeah, we are now halfway through, 40 laps down, 40 to go. Now the question is, you know, it's been 20 laps since we had that caution, which came out at the conclusion of lap 20. When are you thinking about pitting?
I think if you're planning to split this race, or the rest of this race into 3, then you're going to make that call any second now, as Levi Poland does make that call down towards pit road. That is the strategy call for the number 45. They're going to run this remaining stint in thirds. I think if you want to try and split it into 2, the window is so narrow that you've essentially got to stretch the fuel tank as far as you can and hopefully get to lap 51, maybe, to get to the end. Poland not have that maybe slightly higher consumption, and deciding that a fresh set of Goodyears would do the trick right now. There's a chance he stays on the lead lap from this, and that could be crucial if a caution were to come out. It's very close to 1 lap lost here at Indianapolis, as he gets going with a lot of smoke from those rear tyres. Justin Rourke just off turn 4 now, as we head towards that green cone. Levi's going to struggle to stay on the lead lap here, as Rourke crosses the start-finish line. I think he might just about manage it, and we'll be able to race it back if he does fall behind Justin Rourke here.
Remember, he's got to stay on this access road all the way until right there, that blue cone. Then he can exit. So Poland does stay on the lead lap. Not a lot of time between him and Justin Roth. But the good news is he is still on the lead lap. Now he can maximize these tires and not have to worry about trying to get past any of these first few trucks who will eventually be pitting, but it could slow Poland down had he gotten caught up behind them.
Yeah. And we'll see if anyone chooses to cover off that stop. No takers down pit road this time by. So it looks like the majority of the field might be trying to hold on for that one-stop strategy. And I'm keeping an eye on the lap times here to see just how much faster the 45 can go compared to your race leader, because he's building quite a gap from where he was to Justin Rourke. Not feeding that 70 in the dirty air right now, which is crucial for his race. As William Kemp looks to the inside of David Durand, getting pinched towards the inside and has to enter super narrow. Could give Durand that run off the corner. They'll be side by side in the short shoot. And I think this could be a good chance for Durand to try and fight this one back through turn number 4. We'll see who Michael Kruger goes to push. And it looks like it'll be the Hershey's number 24 truck. It'll move Durand up, and we'll see if Kruger can clear as well into turn number 1.
Oh, he is trying hard. He is Kruger. Oh, Kempf is sliding. Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact.
This opens up the door for Maher.
And that's the trouble, getting pinched to the inside. You've got to keep the wheel turned that little bit longer. And it was just a little bit too much to ask of the Goodyears on the exit of turn number 1 for William Kemp. He's going to lose a spot not just to Kruger, but also to Tristan Maher, who now finds himself in 9th place. Still no drivers responding to the Poland pit stop. So it looks like a split strategy for the 45 compared to the rest of the field. As we hit 35 laps to go here at Indianapolis. Still Justin Rourke, who leads by 8 tenths of a second.
Tristan Maher.
Poland was...
Go ahead.
It's like Poland was 2 seconds faster last time by. That's how good those new tires are. Question is, can it make up for about a 45-second time loss down taking an extra stop on pit road?
That's a lot to be asking out of those tires. Cody McCorkle, he had a really good race going for him last week until the end. And he was devastated. Cody really thought he could have gotten a top 5 or even a chance to win. And the opportunity just, it got away. Cody McCorkle, he's been strong all night tonight. Been in 4th for a good chunk of this run. And kind of riding right behind Michael Walls right at the moment. I think this is going to help bring back confidence to Cody McCorkle. I know he really was devastated last week. Having a really good run once again tonight.
Yeah, great to see Cody up inside that top 5. Hasn't really had the luck that you'd want so far this season. Has had a couple of top 5s, 5th place at Gateway and Nashville. But looking to try and keep that momentum going. Of course, that fight for the playoffs well underway, and Gabe currently sat in 11th place. Cody sat in 14th place, I should say. And right now on the outside looking in, they're only about 11 points behind Gabe coming into tonight. So plenty of chance to move up the order and into one of those playoff positions.
Cody, he missed a couple of races. Took a couple of provisionals as well, and a race that he was really looking forward to was Eldora, which was one that he missed. I know he was pretty upset about that one as well. So, looking at the point situation, you got to wonder, what could have been for Cody had he been able to make all the races and where he'd be sitting at right now. Looks like William Kempf, though, coming down pit road.
"31 laps until the end of this one." It's going to be a tough stint for Kemp to make that happen. Going to need to do a little bit of lift. It was only about 25 laps since the restart as we finished up lap 48 there. So possible that Kemp might not be good on fuel to the end here with where that stop is. We'll see who comes off and who can extend a little bit further into this pit stop window for that one stop. Justin Rourke coming through turn 4 as we call, and it is going to respond now. So he's setting up for a 30-lap run to the end of the race. Jones extends by, will take the race lead as Walls and Kruger follow in your former race leader.
Gabe Cazzola also going to come down pit road. He's going to lock it up. That brings Fidel Fabian and Alex Kerfan really close to that 95 machine. They all made it in without...
I can't believe Gabe made it in at speed there.
Yeah. And now the goal here is to not speed on exit.
And Levi is going to jump all of those drivers We've just come down pit road already through the short chute as Justin Raw finds the pit exit lane. So it's a gain for Levi Poland right now, but maybe not as much of a gain as he was hoping for with a 9-lap undercut. Durand actually stays out here as Rivers Jones peels down pit lane with McCorkle and Maher following behind. So Durand, Chicano, both Durands, and then Stephen Thornton will just have 28 laps to the checkered flag when they make their final stop.
It's pretty interesting. Some of the strategies being called right now. Does Justin come in this time? He does, and that was close. With Fidel Fabian.
Those trucks already made their stop now and lapping themselves with that pit cycle. Everyone else on their way, and I think it's going to give the lead to the 45 of Levi Poland. But only about 5 seconds ahead of Justin Raw, who we think is going to be good to the end from here. I'd say Levi needs a caution in the next 5 or 10 laps to really solidify that spot at the front of the field.
So right now, David Durand has the race lead, and as soon as he pits, it will be Levi Poland. But it won't be for long.
Yeah, the gap is, again, close to 2 seconds is the difference. Justin Raw with a 52.3, one of the fastest laps of the race. Last time by, yeah, Poland running in the 54s right now on those 10-lap old tyres. The tyres do seem to have that initial fall off and then hold in that sort of 54-second range for the rest of the run. Durand does pit this time by. It'll be lap led to David Durand here. And then next time, if he can hold on to it from Justin Raw, Levi Poland will be credited with that lap led.
Poland.
He is your new race leader on the track right now. But Raw only 2.3 seconds behind. Raw has built a huge gap behind him in that cycle. Back nearly 4 seconds to Michael Walls and another 3 seconds down to Rivers Jones, who pit a lap later.
It's crazy how big of a gap it is between Raw and Walls. Raw has just been incredible.
He's right there behind Poland now. I think it'll just be one lap led on the books for the 45, at least in this phase of the race, because you can see the difference in corner speed between the two. He might going to try and break the draft, but I'd be surprised if Rourke can go around the top side to get this move done in the corner. Just carrying a few more miles an hour, and I think going to maybe look to slipstream through down towards turn number 1. Timed that run nearly perfectly. Going to be a bit of a drag race. And Raw gets given that lap led by just a couple of thousandths. In fact, no, Poland gets it by a 10,000th. But now, 76 back to the lead of the race. And he has 3 seconds behind to the next car on the same strategy.
That's just incredible. Poland, he needs to hold on 25 more laps with these tires.
and he can't make it on fuel. He's going to have to make the additional stop. I think was hoping the gap would be a little bit bigger than that through the cycle. I think now banking on a caution to bring the whole field down pit road and reset the order. Instead, though, about to get swallowed up by Ward the next couple of laps. Battle for 8th place looking very close here. Maher with a run on Gabe Cazzola. It's been a slow move back up through the field for Tristan Maher, who did extend that stint to have the better tyres and a little bit more fuel to push in this final run. Now is the time to try and get that clean air and make the headway. But Gabe Cazzola has been very tricky to pass, especially in the early phase of the stint. You can see 17 tucked up right behind and isn't going to see the opportunity just yet. He's going to back off and wait for a better moment to get around Gabe.
It's a smart move by Tristan. You know, there's no reason to really push the issue rate at the moment. You know, not a whole lot of laps left, so he wants to make it happen and see if he can get up the road to catch William Kempf. But he's just kind of biding his time right now, and I think it's smart. See, Cazzola's going to slide there. Cazzola really struggling. Saw that last week as well out of Gabe Cazzola. Tristan pushed Gabe down the straightaway and backed off a little bit before they got the corner. And that tells me he's just being patient as Maher. And now he's going to take a peek to the inside.
And using that side draft as well, gained so much after pulling out of line. Has not quite gotten clear through turn number 1. He's going to have to enter narrow into turn 2, right down towards the curb. This is the problem, trying to get around Gabe Cazzola. He's not going to give it up easily. Oh. And now Durand does go 3 wide down the backstretch. This isn't going to work into the corner. And it's going to be Gabe who backs out in the end. Thinks better of it. And Durand is going to go 2 for 1 here. With Tristan having to fight back on the outside.
Alonso Chicano wanted to try the same thing that he just saw out of Justin Durand. Let's see if he makes it happen. He's taking a peek to the inside. Nope, it's just to go behind Dave, make that Justin. Never mind, he does make the move. 3 wide. Tristan Maher way up the racetrack.
Into the marbles.
Oh my goodness.
Holds onto it, but it's stuck 3 wide again. Sort of got ahead on corner entry, but couldn't hold the line. How? If they made it through the corner 3 wide and again down the bad stretch, Gabe Cazzola might be able to play Kingmaker here. As the 3 pinch and squeeze and side draft down towards turn number 3. Again, Maher shoots high, gets a little bit of a tap from Justin Durand. And the 5 will back out of it. They continue to fight side by side ahead. Now Maher goes for the crossover.
Oh my goodness. As a team owner, I just saw a lot of virtual dollar signs going up. But what a battle that we just saw. Alonso Chicano going from 11th to 8th in just like 2 laps. And Maher gets loose there off turn number 1. By the way, we still have 20 laps to go.
Yeah, this is a fantastic fight, but you gotta wonder what it's doing to those tyres. All these drivers hoping to make it to the end of the race on this set. Gotta make sure they've got the speed towards the end of the run as well. Of course, Poland, 10 lap older tyres. Is actually going to peel down pit road here. 10 seconds behind your race leader, might go a lap down with this one. As he takes that stop that's required on fuel for the 45 to get to the end. Again, not quite over for Levi yet. If he can stay on the lead lap and catch a caution, then could stay out on those fresher tyres and potentially gain some track position. But he really needs that caution for any chance in this one. Durand clears Gabe Tzola, and again, Gabe's one of those first drivers to pit, has been hard on the tyres here today. And I think maybe starting to fade as we head into the final quarter of this race.
These three, Alonso, Tristan, and Justin, they are still nose to tail. And gotta wonder if any one of them, well, at least behind Alonso, is gonna try to make a move again.
Tristan keeps getting loose through the corners. Durand's got a little bit of overspeed here, but isn't going to be quite close enough into turn 3 to try and make the move. Poland, by the way, has come out of pit lane just behind Justin Raw and 1 lap down. So he's going to try and fight that back as soon as possible and then hope that a caution flies in this fight, which, with how they've been running, is far from impossible. We've seen a little bit of contact between them. We've seen those slides that sometimes can be very hard to catch. Guys have done a great job so far holding on to it, and the only caution we've had so far was because of a mechanical issue.
Not really any battles going on right now. These three, I think, are the closest. It's Tristan just kind of sliding off the corner exit. He's starting to struggle. Wondering when Justin's going to try to make a move.
Almost a standoff between Tristan and Justin here. You can tell that the 5 is looking for a way around, but just wants to pick the right moment, doesn't want to get stuck side by side with the 17. Now pops to the inside, and in fact Tristan will give it up and slot in behind and move Justin Durand up into 8th place. He's going to try and make an attack on Alonso Chicano, who has been making a hard charge through the field. See how well those tyres are holding on the 25.
And no love lost between these guys. Between Chicano and Durand.
Hadn't thought about that.
As someone who is really close with the teams, I haven't forgotten about it.
I'm sure they haven't either. A few close fights. Actually, we're supposed to keep an eye on this one. Mahan Durand still staying close by. Wall's been caught by Jones now for that 2nd position. Of course, Jones pit 1 lap later, has those slightly fresher tyres. Same story behind for 4th place, with Kruger being reeled in by Cody McCorkle. So we'll see whether they can get that move done in these final 14 laps. Of course, that 5-car fight for the 6th position, still as close as ever, about 1 second covering all 5 of those trucks.
Kruger actually just got on past Cody McCorkle to put himself into the 4th position. It's been a great recovery for Michael Kruger, but we watched this battle Alonso Chicano, he moves to the inside of William Kempf. And Chicano's not going to have a hard battle at all. He's going to get clear of Kempf.
Yeah, Kempf on 3-lap older tyres right now. Questions not just about how long those Goodyears can hold on, but also about fuel mileage to the end for the 09. And I think Kempf is running that a little bit slower, is going to let a few trucks by just to try and get to the end here without getting into too much of a fight. See how David Durand slices through how many trucks Kempf wants to give the wave to. In this situation, you don't want to end up at the tail end of the pack and then off the back of it, because that doesn't help you with any slipstream. You want to stay in the group. You just want to make sure that you aren't burning up too much of your own resources to do so.
Keep an eye on that battle as it progresses, but also you had just mentioned the battle between Jones and Walls. And oh my goodness, Walls caught the wall! He's still ahead of Jones.
But he's going to defend the inside. He doesn't want to give Jones that run to the apex off the corner. He's not defended far enough. Jones is going to go for that move, but it's so tight on entry that Walls is going to be able to fend off the attack. But it is now battle stations between the two of them. And all this is going to do is it's going to prevent either from trying to close back into Justin Rourke, who now leads by nearly 4 seconds ahead of the field.
And potentially allow Kruger and McCorkle to catch these guys in battle. Right now, Wall's still holding on to the second position. Jones is not giving up. He's not close enough to be able to make a move into 3, though. But he is trying. It's not from a lack of effort.
Yeah, I think this late in the race, the only instruction is to not wreck each other, because it's going to be another great finish for the team as things stand. Goat Racing really just taking control of this season as we head into the final 10 laps of the race. They've had 3 consecutive 1-2s. Last time out, I think it was a 1-2-3-4.
Yeah.
And tonight, it's looking like it could be another podium lockout for the team, which would, I mean, just stamp their authority on the BSR Grid Network Truck Series for Season 8. The only instruction is make sure it's 2-3. It doesn't really matter what order, just don't wreck each other.
And I'll tell you what, one thing I have noticed, and I even thought about last week but didn't mention, is how hard these guys race each other. They are teammates, but they don't care. They're going to race each other so hard, but put on a great show, try to stay as clean as possible, and that's what they do. They have not roughed each other up at all this season that I have witnessed or that I know of. But yet they still battle each other super, super hard whenever they're around each other. For the whole team. It's incredible.
Yeah, and to keep control of a race like this, to be able to decide it on your terms, I think there's a lot of work to get in that, where you can run up front and put on some good racing without ending up coming to blows. As things stand, Walls does hold on by about 0.3 of a second. As again, Jones did have the 1-lap pressure tyres, but has been in that dirty air for a good few laps now, and it's going to catch the wall off the corner. Just with that right rear corner. And he's going to fall back just a little bit down into the final 8 laps of this race. Justin leads by 4 seconds. Kruger and McCorkle now within 2 of that battle for second place.
Kruger, he's actually really pulled away from McCorkle. He would love an opportunity to come up here and battle with Jones and Walls. I just don't think there's going to be enough time. Alonso Chicano, he is pulled away from Justin Duran, and I saw David Duran get real loose off corner exit. Almost hit that inside wall at the pit entrance.
And how that would have changed the race.
Oh yeah.
Pushing almost into overtime at that point. There'd be fresh tires for everyone, of course, at that point. A quick note on the end of this one. Communications from the 30 crew, Alex Perfin, marginal on fuel. Has been struggling despite being in the slipstream of Fidel Fabian in the number 11. So we'll see whether the 30 can make it home. And that puts more questions on William Kemp, who pit a lap even earlier than this duo. Whether that 09 truck can get home without a splash and dash.
Interesting. Six to go. See, Walls has extended a gap a little bit on Rivers Jones. It's 2 to 3 truck lengths between the two now. Jones still struggling with blinking issues. Oh my gosh! Hard into the wall! I don't know if that was that code from the blinking to make it look as hard as it did. I believe he did hit the wall.
Yeah, the wheel. A lot of corrections there through the corner, and that truck is damaged now, falling back towards Michael Kruger, who is going to look for the move onto the podium in the dying laps of this one. 5 to go, 4 at the line. And Rivers Jones has fallen away so suddenly from the teammate after a big shot to the wall in turn number 4. Gonna have to try and limp this one home and be on the defensive for the final few laps.
Kruger's got the draft of Rivers Jones. Now let's see if he can do everything right to be able to get up to that 18. It's gonna be 4 to go at the line. Michael Kruger.
You just see the slides mid-corner for Jones. If there isn't damage to the truck, there's definitely a little bit of trouble on the side of the Goodyears. And Kruger is within 0.4 of a second as we come down the backstretch and towards turn number 3. He was 0.4 faster last lap than the number 18. He's just got to try and find a way around without getting into trouble. It could be a podium position for Michael Kruger, who, by the way, sits 3rd in the standings despite missing 2 races so far this season. A great run from Kruger. Has had 5 top 5s. This would be the 6th. And a great run from row number 4 on the grid.
Michael Kruger not close enough to be able to make the move. within 0.3 of a second. So they're coming out of turn number 4. It's going to be 2 laps to go. This time by Justin Rod. He's got the lead by over 5 seconds on Micah Walls.
And Raw's got lap traffic, in fact, of Stephen Thornton. Unlikely to play a factor in this one, of course. Thornton moves up against the wall. Raw will make the move down low. But the middle of the straightaway, Rivers Jones bending that inside line, trying to break the draft, knowing how close Michael Kruger is for a shot at that podium. The leader coming through turn 4. White flag is out in the hands of Barney the Flagman.
Oh!
And it will fly. This race is official. 1 lap to go.
Jones got really loose off turn number 4. Michael Kruger so close now. We're going to continue to watch this battle. Kruger's going to have one more shot at it. Jones tries to break the draft. I don't think he's going to get there. Les Jones has another issue off turn number 4. But speaking of turn number 4, oh, Kruger, he's going to drive it hard off the corner, going to hit the wall. The checkered flag waving. Justin Rott's going to claim the win. And the MartinPC.com 200. And Kruger holds on to 4th. Just ahead of teammate Cody McCorkle after that big wall contact.
It's another 1, 2, 3 for Go Inc. And it is a 3rd win on the season for the 76 of Justin Raw. Michael Walls again is going to come home in 2nd place, but is going to hold on to that championship lead, of course. And they see the celebrations for the entire team. Another job well done. As, oh my goodness. That shows how close that 2nd place fight was.
Oh. Tristan Maher died out of turn 4, virtually.
And I wonder if Rourke's out of gas. Do you know the rule to not burn it down on the bricks here at Indianapolis? I don't think Rourke has the power to burn it down anywhere. Walls pushed him down towards the short chute of 1 and 2. That shows how close it was on strategy. He's going to fire it up a little bit. Roll back towards turn number 1. I don't know if we have that much in the way of celebrations, as Justin Raw just wins it home. Fuel mileage affair to finish out this one. Go Inc. As we've said so many times this season, out on top.
It's just incredible what they have been able to do all season long. Justin Raw going to stomp on the bricks. I don't think he's going to burn him down. Let's go ahead and take a look at our unofficial race results. It is Justin Rott with the race win. Micah Walls finishing 2nd. Rivers Jones bringing us home P3 for another Go Inc. 1, 2, 3. Michael Kruger, he finishes in 4th. Cody McCorkle in 5th. Alonso Chicano, 6th. Hey, it may not have been that Go Inc. 1, 2, 3, but it was a Chicano Motorsports with PBR Manufacturing 4, 5, and 6. Justin Duran finishes 7th. David Duran in 8th. Tristan Maher 9th. And William Kempf finishes in 10th.
It'll be Gabe Trizzola who comes home in 11th, ahead of Fidel Fabian. Alex Kerfin did make it home on fuel, will finish in 13th, with Levi Poland on the alternate strategy. Ended up finishing the final truck on the lead lap, not catching the caution that he would have needed. Stephen Thornton finishes 1 lap down, with Stephen Littrell and Randy Payne, your 2 retirements from tonight's race at Indianapolis.
So let's go ahead and talk to our top 3 finishers, and we will start with our third place finisher, Rivers Jones. And hey, Rivers, third place finish for you. It was a tough one out there for you.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely was. Car just handled pretty terrible all race. It's been a characteristic of the past couple races, honestly. Just the truck at these tracks doesn't handle good. Yeah, started out good, got the pole, but for the first couple laps, then handling just kind of fell off pretty quickly, honestly, and that allowed Justin to take the lead. Then once someone takes the lead, it's pretty much impossible to pass them unless they make a mistake. But yeah, it's just about minimizing mistakes pretty much. So yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, I've kept making mistakes, unfortunately, and then I got leapfrogged on that pit cycle by the 7 because I pitted a lap later, and I just didn't have a good pit stop. I think my entry could have been a little bit better compared to them. So yeah, it was kind of a rough race, but still happy to bring home P3.
Last couple of weeks has been really tough to pass. We talked about that a lot last week. All 3 interviews we had all mentioned about how tough it was to pass last week, and this week as well. So next week we head to Richmond, which is a short track, and what are you kind of looking forward to at that one?
Something different will be nice for sure. I'm pretty terrible at Richmond, if I'm going to be completely honest. Last time we went here was a couple seasons ago, and I just ran like 15th on pure pace the entire time. So hopefully I can do better than that. It's a pretty low bar. Yeah, it'll definitely be nice to go to a different track. Like you said, the past couple weeks has been very similar racing. And someone mentioned that the stretch of tracks just kind of terrible, honestly. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for something different. It'll be nice to have a race where there's like a significant amount of braking involved and whatnot. So I think it'll be a pretty good race.
All right, sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you?
First off, thank you to Mom and Dad. Got to see them last night and this morning. So that was really nice. Shout out to the GOAT guys, of course. Another 1, 2, 3. We've been racking up 1, 2, 3s and 1, 2s whole season, so it's really awesome. And shout out to 49ers Race and IC.
All right. Congrats on the podium once again, and we will see you next week at Richmond.
Thank y'all. Take care.
That was Rivers Jones. And now, Olivia, I believe you have Micah Walls.
I sure do. Micah, welcome to the booth once again. I know you and your teammates getting quite familiar with being up here. I mean, doing 9 starts this season, you've run every race so far on the calendar. The average finish is 4.9, and you have not once finished outside of the top 10. What is the secret to that level of relentless consistency through the first 9 races of season number 8?
Yeah, I mean, I've put in my time on the service, and I've gotten quite well on the service, obviously, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. We just had a really good stretch in league races here recently, so.
Course of 5 rounds to go now. Richmond next week, and then Chicago, North Wilkesboro, and 2 races at Talladega to finish out the regular season schedule. How are you feeling going into what are a few almost wildcard tracks to finish out the regular season, and how are you feeling confident about closing out that regular season points title?
Yeah, I think these next couple races are going to be really keen for us to get some points out on Justin. I think we're going to be really good at Richmond. We'll be really good at North Wilkesboro. The only races that will probably be might something bad happen is the Talladega races. So.
And of course, talking about the finish tonight, second place once again did a great job fending off Rivers in that final stint. Talk us through that final encounter, and then of course, was there anything you could have done to try and close in to the number 76 of Justin?
Yeah, after that first caution, me and Rivers, we were battling pretty hard, and I ended up getting the wall, and after he kind of doored me in the wall, and I ended up having about 1.5 minutes of damage that whole last run. I really don't know how I ended up keeping second, but yeah, I really wish we wouldn't have messed up in qualifying and qualified in the rear. But yeah.
Well, we look forward to next week over at Richmond. If there's anything else you want to say to the fans at home, now would be the time. Congratulations on yet another top 5 finish.
Oh, well, we got to shout out Bill first off. We got to shout out all the good guys. I was told to say this, but we got to shout out Rivers' parents. And yeah, on to next week.
Alright, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully let's speak again next time.
Yep, thank you.
That was second place finisher Michael Walls. And now standing by with Josh Coppenall is your race leader, race winner, 3rd time this season, Justin Raw.
And Justin Rott, another race win for you here, and this time it came in the MartinPC.com 200 at Indianapolis. You qualified 3rd and took the lead pretty early and never looked back. Just walk us through how it was for you.
Well, you saw how it was. You pretty much just described it. It's as simple as, if you make a mistake on corner exit, I guess really on the exits of 2 and 4, that's really all that's going to cost you, because it's just so hard with the dirty air. And I got by Rivers because he hit the wall the one time and then got tight under me into 3. And I had to defend once or twice, and I think there was one restart in there that him and Micah got close, and then whatever they were doing behind me really helped me pull away. And then Rivers was second, and he just sat like a second behind me, and there's nothing he could do, because if he got any closer, he'd hit that dirty air threshold, but any further, he's still in the draft and gaining, so he was just stuck at a second. And the call to pit early, that honestly definitely won me the race, because if I pit a lap later, Micah would have jumped me. I think he had damage, so maybe I would have beat him anyways. But Rivers, if he pit before me, he would have jumped me. He fell 6 seconds behind me on that pit stop, just from going 1 extra lap. So they both ran good races despite whatever shenanigans they were up to behind me. And just so I don't forget later, shout out Rivers Jones' parents. They were watching, so shout out them.
All right, well, I just want to mention, Olivia just messaged me a couple of pieces of information. One of them is that you led 68 laps tonight out of the 80 that were led. So that is pretty incredible what you were able to do. The other is something that I had not forgotten, Olivia. Thanks for bragging about that. But you were actually Olivia's pick to win, and this is 2 weeks in a row. Olivia has picked the correct winner. So next week I'm going to ask Olivia who the pick is before we even go live, so I can pick them instead. Good thinking.
There you go.
But with that being said, you know, you mentioned 68 laps led. It was a long green flag run to the end. Only one caution tonight. So how do you stay focused when it's, you know, just a very long run and the cautions are rare?
I mean, they were messing around so much behind me, and Mike had damage. I really didn't have to focus too much once I got out there. Like, I had to focus on getting in and out of my stall and, you know, getting down to pit road speed. That was about it. After that, it was smooth sailing. I honestly, just because there was so little going on, I started getting worried about fuel because if I pit a lap earlier, I wouldn't have made it without saving. So I pit as early as I could because we had to run that whole fuel window to make it to the end, which is fun. I like that. Normally, I will say this didn't take too much like skill, I guess. So everyone kind of ran the same speed. So it would have just came down to who pit first. So, and it kind of did a little bit, but it helped it stay more even than it would have. I was just hoping my auto fuel, my overlay, and everything wasn't lying to me, and I was good on fuel. There's been a lot of races lately where there's been a really late caution, not in this league particularly, but like just a couple other ones where I'm running well or bleeding, coming to the white, and then a caution comes out and I lose. So I was really just trying to get around to the white flag as fast as possible so that didn't happen, because that's actually the worst feeling in the entire world. So even Eldora, I just held on that time, but like every time I feel like so yeah, you know, trying to stay focused. Not too big of an issue. It wasn't too hard to drive. We were just kind of chit-chatting the whole time in the call and talking about the Xfinity race and college football because Mike is a big LSU fan and he's just watching the games the whole time.
All right. Well, sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done for that winning 76 machine?
Shout out everyone on the team, Rivers, Mike, for another podium walkout. Me and Mike, we've been top two the last, I think, 4 weeks, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Fidel, Gabe, they were in the call with us. I don't know, I think that's everyone. Jarek, Steven over Race Nitro, Dahari as well. Sean, I don't know what he's doing, probably nothing. Shout out Rivers' parents again. Who am I missing? Yeah, I think that's it. And NFL season starts tomorrow. Well, yeah. Go Panthers.
Go Steelers. But congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week in Richmond.
PA. Yep, thank you guys.
And that was Justin Rott, tonight's race winner here at Indianapolis. Olivia, final thoughts from tonight.
I mean, it's just a story of dominance by a team, but especially this season, tonight, by one driver, and that is Justin Rott. And charged through early and then did not look back, led by 5.5 seconds at the checker, which got to be close to a record for a non-road course race here in the series, at least. And yeah, unfortunately not going to be here next week, so you can't necessarily steal the pick, but I say dirt racing, especially 76, might not be a bad call.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it was it was a good race. I mean, you know, all things considered, we still had some pretty good battles going on tonight. Was tough to pass, yes, but drivers other than Justin Rott kept it pretty close for our entertainment. So that's going to do it from us here at Indianapolis and the MartinPC.com 200. I guess since everybody else is giving a shout out to them, I'll just say thanks to Rivers' parents for watching and always supporting this league and Rivers Jones. And so I think that's going to do it from us here at Indy. Thanks to the drivers, the fans, and the admins for all that you guys do. Without you guys, this would not be possible. And Olivia, thank you as always for being here. So on behalf of Olivia Hayward and the entire outstanding crew at JCTV, I'm Joshua Coppernoll signing off, saying so long, stay safe, and we will see you next time. Take care.